And I don't know why she keeps protecting that man. He doesn't even like her like that, but she keeps putting herself at risk, defending him and protecting him. I don't get it.
So now Solange isn't holding back anymore. She's finally speaking out and putting Beyonce on full blast. At least that's what insiders are claiming. And this isn't just random chatter either, because people are saying Beyonce didn't simply sit on the sidelines while Jay-Z was allegedly moving funny behind closed doors. The picture being painted right now? Way messier than fans ever expected. And it's got people rethinking everything. Now, word going around is that she may have played a role in keeping certain things under wraps, especially when his name started getting linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Insiders claim Solange got fed up watching Beyonce defend him, especially once those Epstein rumors got louder and harder to brush off. And the moment those stories resurfaced, everything shifted. Old accusations came rushing back, and suddenly nothing felt like coincidence anymore. Now people are connecting dots like never before. Strange industry moments are starting to click, and fans are seriously questioning whether Beyonce was ever just watching from the sidelines, or if she was actively helping keep things quiet all along. And here's the part making people uneasy. A lot of what's being noticed now sounds very familiar, almost like things Wendy Williams was calling out years ago. She flat out said Beyonce was far more calculated and strategic than people realized. Back then, she got dragged heavy for those comments. But now, it's starting to look like she wasn't just being messy, she might have been early. Those old claims are hitting different now, and they're coming back louder than ever. So, let's really get into it. The situation unfolding makes it seem like Solange may have unintentionally exposed Beyonce as possibly being tied up in Jay-Z's questionable moves connected to Epstein. Nobody had that on their bingo card. But here we are. This wasn't something fans saw coming, and now it's got everyone side-eyeing the entire situation. What makes this even crazier is that Solange was reportedly pushing Beyonce to take a stand against Jay-Z. She allegedly wanted her to stop covering for him and call out whatever shady behavior was happening behind the scenes. And if there's one thing people always say about Solange, it's that she never trusted Jay-Z. She's always been vocal about that energy. Reports say Solange had doubts for a long time, feeling like Jay-Z's situation wasn't exactly clean. But when his name started popping up in those Epstein-related conversations, that's when everything clicked for her. That moment reportedly made her realize just how serious things could be, and that Beyonce may have known more than she let on from the very beginning. And honestly, with some of the details people say came out, it's not shocking why Solange would be disturbed by it all. She allegedly started connecting the dots when a fresh batch of Epstein-related documents dropped, and suddenly, a lot of familiar names were being pulled into the spotlight. The whole conversation shifted overnight, and Jay-Z's name was one people couldn't ignore. According to what's being said about those documents, his name came up alongside Harvey Weinstein, and not in some vague passing way either. That alone made people pay closer attention. The claims tied to those files suggest they were in the same circles often, with allegations that Jay-Z may have been present during situations involving serious misconduct by Weinstein and didn't step in. That part alone raised eyebrows, but it didn't stop there. One section really stands out. It references an account from a woman who reportedly contacted the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, identifying herself as someone who said she had been harmed by Epstein and others connected to him. She claimed that back in the mid-90s, around 1996, she was taken from her home by unidentified individuals. According to a statement, when she regained consciousness, she said she was in a room where both Jay-Z and Weinstein were present. In her account, she alleged that Weinstein assaulted her while Jay-Z was in the room. These are extremely serious claims, and they've only intensified everything people are now questioning. This is a disturbing accusation on its own, and people following the situation believe it may not even stop there. Reports suggest there are additional pages in those files hinting at even more questionable connections tied to Jay-Z, and that's what's really making people uneasy right now. But here's where things get even heavier. Some are pointing out that this isn't the first time Jay-Z and Beyonce have been accused of allegedly witnessing questionable situations and not stepping in. Once fans started digging, older moments resurfaced, and now they're being looked at very differently. One example that keeps coming up is when their names were reportedly tied to a lawsuit involving Diddy Combs, and people are quick to highlight the contradiction because even though I
was at a party that Diddy created in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. Diddy had put everybody else out to create like the influx of people. He had put them out. He had took a like in a minute particular around the time, and it was really putting his arm around.
Now, according to DaBaby, this is where things went from awkward to seriously uncomfortable. He claimed the energy in the room shifted fast, and Diddy started acting differently toward him, getting way too close and way too handsy, which immediately set off red flags. He said Diddy put his arms around him and started touching him in a way that felt off almost instantly. Then he took it a step further, suggesting that the reason Beyonce was allegedly at that gathering was because Diddy was trying to line him up for her. If you catch what he was implying, he said it felt like Diddy was setting him up in a way that didn't sit right at all. The way he described it, the entire moment felt planned from the jump, like everyone else in the room already knew what was going on except him. And by the time he realized what he believed was happening, he felt like he was already too deep in a situation he never agreed to, which made it even more unsettling.
Oh, he got put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to spend it in maybe about 15 others. Right. Jay's need to be Beyonce being, 2 of the 15 people in the room. So that would just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in right at the moment, And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to. Right, Beyonce, cut it up. But I'm a big fan of your work, And that was just dope. That was dope.
Oh, he had cleared most people out, but he let me stay for another meeting, maybe like 15 others still in there. Jay-Z and Beyonce were 2 of those people in the room. So that kind of shows the type of company I was around in that moment. And she actually came over and introduced herself to me, like she even had to do that. They were about to move me out, but she stopped and said she was a fan of my work. You know what I'm saying? That was dope. That was really dope. Is greater than... Considering that Sean Diddy Combs has faced similar accusations about allegedly putting people in uncomfortable setups, some are saying this doesn't sound completely out of nowhere. It adds another layer to what people are already questioning, and it's only making the conversation more intense. And then things take an even heavier turn. There are claims that at one point Beyonce was allegedly recorded in a highly compromising situation at one of these parties, and that a tape almost ended up being sold. According to attorney Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, she was reportedly contacted by a client looking for help arranging the sale of footage involving a major celebrity. Ariel claimed the person in that video didn't even realize they were being recorded at the time, which makes the whole situation sound even more disturbing and invasive. Is greater than...
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard the
I can't explain who the person was, but
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it? Or
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video is pornographic in nature.
So the way some people are looking at it, while Beyonce may have been helping cover for Jay-Z, she might not have been able to protect herself from everything happening around her. There are claims suggesting that the video never surfaced because a deal was quietly made behind the scenes, with speculation that money could have been involved to keep it buried. But none of that has been officially confirmed. But the story doesn't stop there. According to Jay-Z's former friend Libby Johnson, he once attended a party with Beyonce where he claimed there were young individuals present. He also alleged that she made comments during that time that he found disturbing. Those claims have only added more controversy and given people even more to question. Is greater than.
I did a Rockaware photo shoot in Colorado, and I think it was during the winter time of 06 or 07. And Naomi Campbell was there, actress Jamie King was there, Jay was there, B was there, and he rented this house. And we were supposed to do this rap party for this photo shoot. We rented this house, and we were watching LeBron play. And after the game, it had to have been like 10 or 11 o'clock. So we getting ready to party. So when 11 o'clock hit, we turned on the music, we started drinking, and then out of nowhere came these young children. I don't know where they came from. For a rap party at 11 o'clock at night, drinking, loud music, and us dancing wild, like, I don't know where these kids came from. And then I happened to sit down because I was dancing with one of the assistants. And I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyonce. So I hear B say something about, doesn't this look sexy, or isn't this sexy? And in my mind, and mind you, I'm not awakened as I'm awakened now. So in my mind, I'm like, what did she just say?
The deeper people dig into this whole Beyonce situation, the more questionable it's starting to look, and right now, a lot of it feels pretty messy. That's why some are circling back to what Wendy Williams used to say, pointing out that she was one of the first to publicly challenge Beyonce's image and suggest there was more happening behind the scenes. Now those old clips are getting attention again. People are bringing up the time Wendy openly called Beyonce out and even questioned her pregnancy, which sounded wild back then. But today, some are looking at those moments in a completely different light. Is greater than.
Just take a look at the video. Okay, so here's Beyonce and she's walking out and everything is fine. She's 5 months pregnant. Then she sits down and, okay, no, we're gonna rerun it until you see it. Let's do it in slow motion. You'll notice she's either giving birth to a Frisbee or Stewie from Family Guy. Look at the shape. Look, do you see? There it is, there it is.
She also accused Beyonce of allegedly undermining other female artists on her rise to the top, claiming there was more competition behind the scenes than people realized, which only adds more tension to everything being discussed now.
Guess who's jealous of Adele? Beyonce.
Back then, people called her bitter, jealous, and just trying to tear someone down. But now, with all these conversations resurfacing, some are starting to wonder if she was actually onto something way earlier than anyone wanted to admit. Because once you step back and look at everything, it stops feeling like random accusations and starts looking like a pattern. People are pointing to repeated claims, moments of silence, and situations where powerful names stayed protected. And somehow, Beyonce's name keeps landing right in the middle of it all. From Epstein-related discussions to lawsuits that suddenly shifted, to insiders now speaking out, it's all starting to connect in a way that has people seriously questioning things. The same question keeps coming up. How much did she really know? And how long was she willing to stay quiet? And if Solange really tried to push her to stop defending Jay-Z, that alone says a lot about what could have been happening behind the scenes. What makes this hit even harder is that for some people, none of this feels new, it just feels delayed. Wendy had been saying for years that the image was too perfect, the power too protected, and the narrative too controlled. Back then, she got shut down, but now, people are revisiting those moments with a completely different perspective.